Hello everyone, it's Kong again with another Apex stream, just getting ready to get started here. And yes, you may be able to immediately tell by the sound of my voice, I'm not in my usual studio. That's okay. It's a long weekend, so I'm on the road, but I brought my mic with me. I am not here to miss any Apex Arena semifinals or finals. So here I am, streaming from a strange bar. But that'll be fine. I found myself a quiet corner. And I'm just going to get my links posted real quick, and I'll be able to bring up the chat. One thing that's slightly awkward is I don't have two screens like I normally do since I'm just on my laptop, so I'm going to have kind of a sideways glance at the chat for most of this. I usually have like YouTube and Twitch chats open in separate windows so I can make sure I don't miss you on your home platform of choice. Today we're just going to have to do the best we can do. But the best we can do is usually decent. Bakira, welcome to the stream. You like to show up for these high-stakes matches, don't you? Haven't been playing Lang in a while, but once you get into the highly competitive stuff, it does get interesting. Moondoggy. Drop 12 ticks on SCL. You know, if SCL is going to beat Autorun, this is the season. Let's just hop into the brackets, and I'll bring my chat back up. Race Crew, welcome to the chat. Okay, so. I will say, I mean, there's only 4 minutes left before these matches start, but if people are just joining the stream now and suddenly remembering that they have tickets that they didn't use to stream or to bet, go ahead and not choose either of the players on the left side of the bracket. They're guildmates. They definitely played their match in advance. So we already know who the winner is going to be, and it's going to be a forfeit, which means any tickets you spend here are just going to be refunded to you, so you won't win any money regardless of who you bet on there. So if you are still holding on tickets and you aren't sure who to put them on yet, it's going to be between SCL or Autorun, whoever you think has a chance of winning this. Obviously, SCL, lots of experience. In Season 10, came in second place to Autorun. So remember, Autorun has won Season 10 and Season 11, so this is kind of a rematch of the Season 10 finals. Over on Autorun's side, obviously, the favorite here by 3-1 in the betting already. We can see last season champion, season before that champion where he defeated SCL. And a strong track record before that as well, but the more recent seasons are the ones that matter a lot. Yeah, Venorian, that's a good point. I mean, everyone's going to be an underdog at some point, depending on what the matchup is. Particularly if you're fighting against Autorun. The thing about these odds, though, are at this level of play, like, obviously SCL's a really good player with a decent team behind him, and Autorun's a really good player with a decent team behind him. So if you kind of give them almost even odds in terms of like actual skill and play and box strength, which, you know, I still give Autorun the edge in that stuff as well, but probably not a 3-1 edge. It does make SCL a decent bet here. Everyone makes mistakes, everyone has bad days. Yeah, like Moondoggy says, there's always RNG as well, so it's not like it's 100% a lock for Autorun. Now, I'm a little gold poor. I don't feel like I want to spend money on tickets here, but I'll go ahead and chuck my one free ticket at SCL just in case, see what happens. I do think the way things are going this season, and this season in the playoffs in particular, I do still give the edge to Autorun in this match. I think he'll probably come out on top here. But yeah, SCL is definitely worth a free bet for sure. Will Autorun accomplish a three-peat? I definitely think it's possible. I mean, he has won 3 times already, just not 3 in a row. So he's got the last 2 in a row. He has another championship back in Season 5. There are... I forget if Royley won 3 times or twice. I think he won 3 times. But it wasn't back-to-back. So if Autorun wins this season, it'll be the first time someone has gone back-to-back-to-back 3 times in a row as champ. Who do I want to see in the final? Personally, I like SCL. I like Autorun as well. I don't have anything against either of these guys. But I have to say I'd probably like to see SCL just because of that underdog factor. It would be nice to see someone different have a chance to win this season. Like I said, not that I have anything against Autorun, but it is always nice to see a new champ, right? It's nice to see new people having success. That said, I wouldn't want Autorun to get frustrated and stop playing and spending on Global, because for all we know, this account is contributing a pretty decent chunk towards Zlong's global revenue. As I mentioned at the start of the stream, I am in a quiet corner of a bar right now, so I have myself a nice little drink on the go. Poured before the stream started. Just a little Diet Coke. Alright, so these matches should be getting started right away. I expect to see Nice forfeit to Up Uppa, so Up Uppa, the dominant guild member, should be advancing to the final, and he will be facing whoever wins between SCL and Autorun. So let's go ahead and jump right into this main event match here. And again, I apologize if my voice is a little bit echoey. This is not my usual studio, and it doesn't have any of my sweet soundproofing. In fact, I think there's a giant dog outside. Righteous Freed, let's go is right. Who do you think's going to win, brother? I guess we should make sure that the players actually enter the match first, before we start counting our unhatched chickens. Is the Freed curse strong enough? We'll see, Pete. Let's wait until a pivotal moment later in the match and see whose name Freed decides to scream. It's like reading tea leaves. Alright, so both players have now clicked to join. Which means we shall soon see the map and who gets player 1. Boxes looking similar here at a first glance. We do have Kyra on SCL's side. We do have Azusa on Autorun's side. That is looking like it may be the only difference. So definitely nothing too shocking or startling outside of the meta. Even these units are like utility units. They're the ones who have fairly specific jobs. Yep, Najin, that's exactly right. This is a rematch of the finals from 2 seasons ago. So in Season 10, Autorun beat SCL to win the championship. And we do in fact have SCL as player 1, and it's going to be on Broken Cliffs. Pretty nice map. Nothing too crazy about it. It's a decent Lostem map. It's also a decent Matthew map. Autorun with the first ban of Lightbringer does not want to have to deal with SCL with the tank. SCL going the same way. So we're going to have a no true tank match for Game 1, and SCL bringing out a wicked 6-star new Zerida. First pick, good DPS. The pick ban phase of these really high-level matches between really two strong opponents are always very interesting to me because there's often some, good strategic thinking going on that's over my head. Do I think it's viable to use a 5-star full-equipped Neo Zerida? Yes, I definitely do. Mine and many of the ones in this playoffs have been 5-star. She is monstrous, regardless. Definitely put her in your box at 5-star. Gafgarian, what's the big deal about Sissy White? I don't get it. Sissy White is a pretty good unit. She has a lot of utility, a lot of flexibility. She has the ability to cast an Act Again skill, which in and of itself is pretty righteous. She can also summon a tank. A temporary tank if need be. In a meta with Gintoki and Epsilon in the box, she also has the ability to summon a totally disposable character who can run into the fog and grant he can grant Gintoki an Act Again, for example. So there's just a lot of sneaky things she can do. She can also boost mobility. Good all-round unit. Not the best healer for like a proper turtle box, because she doesn't have like a bunch of strong compound healing, but definitely a great utility healer. Autorun spending a lot of time thinking about his picks here. Probably has at least one helper, at least one researcher helping run the numbers against the specific combination of units that SCL is getting out here, but Autorun also has a game plan in advance. Yeah, Maddie, the other side, they're both guildmates. They played their match in advance. So no big surprise there. I do feel bad for the 1,000 people who put bet tickets on the other match, knowing that it wasn't going to happen. They just got their tickets back. They can use them tomorrow or save them till next season, I guess. So Autorun, what he's looking like he might have to deal with here is the potential of Watham charging in early and then Zerida being able to use him as a teleport point. So he's going to want to be picking characters that can react to that and counter that. So far with these units that SCL has out, they do kind of play on his advantage, slight advantage of having player 1 right now in this game. But Autorun choosing quite resilient units as well. See, one of the things that always scares me about pick and ban between excellent high-level players like this is that all of their units are scary. Like, every unit in both of these boxes is going to be buff as hell. Okay, so Autorun is going to get McLean. That has the potential to slow down some of SCL's units, although SCL has some pretty good anti-McLean units out already. Neo Zerida can teleport, so the tiles don't necessarily affect her. She can also disable revives, so she can kill him. Watham also has the option with gargoyles of flying, so not affected by the McLean terrain. He's also got a Dank Elmo's teleport ability. He's also got IBC's plus mobility to help mitigate some of the mobility down from the tiles. So SCL's picking a good kind of counter McLean team already. What do I think about Autorun? He's an eternal competitor for finals. What's his secret? Well, he has a few secrets. One of them is wealth. One of them is that he's just plain good at the game. Lots of experience, lots of research. I should bet shots on who I think win each match. Well, fortunately, there's going to be only 3 games maximum that we're watching here. I think I could handle 3 shots even if I were in a worst case scenario to lose all 3 of those bets. Okay, both getting Epsilon. Cucumber, welcome, yes. Apex Semifinals. The winner will face a 7th Heaven Guildie and or their Chinese pilot in the finals. Which should be a good match, actually, as long as the 7th Heaven guys have built up strong whale accounts. Okay, so we are getting Adank Elmo on both sides. We're also getting Epsilon on both sides. Scl going to have to be careful about where and when he drops Adank Elmo's portals, because as player 2, Autorun does have the option of just dropping his own Adank Elmo portals on top of those and erasing them. Just a sneaky little move, may not be the best strategically, but sometimes it is. So both sides with lots of very strong physical DPS. Both sides going to be looking to play careful positional hockey and look for an opening. As player 1, Scl does have a couple of good, strong jump type units, so he may have a slight advantage in terms of looking for an opening and executing. Opening first, potentially. So Autorun going to have to set himself up for advantageous trades. Alright, so we're just chilling while the players adjust their skills, soldiers, and opening positions. Autorun probably be playing back here in an attempt to avoid... Okay, he does have lost him out front, and Scl went for lower position Watham, so he will be able to jump that lost him if he wants. I don't see why he wouldn't. That's why you bring Gargoyle Air/Watham as player 1. Lost him on this turn has not had the opportunity to get any of his after action or terrain bonuses, so this should be a kill. It's also going to set Zerida up with a nice ball ready in Autorun's territory. Not going to be a kill? Barely not going to be a kill? I wonder how much testing Autorun did on that exact scenario. A nasty, nasty bait from Autorun. Scl had to go for it. I mean, that was the entire purpose of that unit. And Lost him lives to tell the tale. Now bear in mind though, Zerida does still have the opportunity to jump to either of these units next turn, so... this Lost him has to do something before he croaks. So sure enough, Autorun taking this opportunity. That's also not going to be a kill. It's also not a stun, because Watham has his immunity from his 3C. Alright, lost him buggering off back to the other tree, healing up fairly nicely, and now he does have all that talent bonus. He's got some damage up, he's on a tree here. So the time is now to see what Scl's follow-up is going to be. This could end up being a pretty disadvantageous trade-down scenario for Scl, having jumped with Watham and gotten nothing for it. Oh yeah, Raven, no doubt. I mean, if you're gonna put your Lostum alone on the front line against someone who second picked Watham, you know exactly what you're doing. You're not doing that just like hoping that he survives or hoping to like get a trade out of it. To the degree that I almost think if SCL saw that, and this might be a little bit too much head games, if SCL saw that, he should have definitely considered not making that jump. But like I said, when you pick and deploy Watham with Air Slash and Gargoyles, I mean, that's the entire reason you have that unit there, so if you don't jump with him, it feels like such a wasted opportunity. I wonder how much testing SCL did on his own Watham versus unbuffed Lostum kills. But yeah, if he thought that was like a well-tested auto-run bait and he wasn't going to get that kill, no question, it would have been better just to keep your Watham back and wait for a better opportunity. But then you start second-guessing yourself, you know, like, am I just overthinking this because it's auto-run? Alright, so McLean gonna take this opportunity to get some tiles down. Kaze, the game's not over yet. But also, WTF at using 12 tickets on this matchup. Alright, so there's that opening Adank Elmo portal positioning, getting ready for... I mean, that can get IBC into the action fairly quickly here now. Auto runs Adank Elmo without a movement boost, not able to cover this portal. She could theoretically get a movement boost. Epsilon has accelerated aid, so if Gintoki gets out of the way, she could get guaranteed accelerated aid. Put herself in kind of a dangerous position up front and get rid of that portal, if that's something that Autorun thought was a priority. Let's quickly take a look at the other units. Nothing too surprising on any of these. SCL's Epsilon does have Hide. We do have a normal anti-Gintoki single target Adank Elmo here. Autorun bringing Guardian Oath on his Gintoki. Have not seen that skill too much in action. Very interesting. So Gintoki will guard that Adank Elmo as long as she's within 3 spaces. So she still can't venture out too far to erase this portal because she won't get the benefits of that guard. Let's see how that comes to play in Autorun's favor as the game plays on. Okay, IBC is going to jump into the rush. Going to get that nice offensive boost on 2 offensive units here, and then she'll appear out front. This is really just a getting into position for next turn maneuver. Because she can't engage anyone yet. Okay, so we are going to get that accelerated aid on Adank Elmo, like we thought. And we are down to the final action for SCL this turn. It is the Sword of Light and Shadow, so if she's going to jump, this is what she has available to her. One-B? Onabi? Just started playing the game. Man, I don't get anything. Well, as a brand new player, I will say that basically the semifinals of the highest level PvP in the land, yeah, it's gonna look a little bit over your head for sure. To be perfectly honest, it's over a lot of our heads, these two players, so don't feel too bad. Autorun doing a great job with his backup time. He does move Annie into this forward position, so he is going to have the opportunity to erase that portal. I don't see why he wouldn't, he's there anyway. Yep, so this is what I was talking about in the pick ban phase. The second player, Annie, has very slight advantage in being able to do that. So now SCL basically only has this one backline portal, no ability to teleport around for another few turns. And it essentially turns Annie into just another long-range mage. I mean, she still does get her range as long as this one portal's on the board, but you lose a lot of the really dynamic flexing forward and teleporting back kind of stuff. You also lose the ability to use your forward portal as like an anchor for your AoEs. So SCL a little bit on his heels here. He has already lost his Watham with nothing in return. He's also lost Annie's portal. So going to be looking to gain some ground here. Both players with a stack on their Epsilon and a shield kind of ready to go. Lost him, glad to be alive. Gintoki waiting to be activated by some means or another. If Annie dies here, for example, because he had her guarded, that's going to permanently put him in his transformation state. Okay, and Zerida does have a Zeraball in Autorun's home base now, so she can teleport here, or here, get a little bit more potential action into the zone. Yeah, Avengers, that's not uncommon. SCL and Iqiao both like to use their backup time to think through move sequencing and stuff like that. It's fine to use a lot of your backup time closer to the start of the match, as long as you're using it well to come up with a good plan. And then you don't need as much backup time later in the match. So that is a straight trade for IBC and Annie here. Autorun gets a little bit more out of that trade because he does activate his Gintoki. He didn't really need the Annie anymore. But we can't downplay the strength of Sword of Light and Shadow for endgame play. So definitely still possible for SCL to bring it back, as long as he's careful with his turn order here. Doesn't want to expose Zerida too quickly, because Autorun does have a few units who can take her lives down. Alright, SCL finally getting that Lostum back. And now we are in a 3-3 game. Zerida, Epsilon, and Annie. McLean, Epsilon, and Gintoki. Annie still has a fireball up her sleeve to help her deal with this double infantry Gintoki. The Epsilon's kind of a wash. And then McLean definitely useful. He's a big, thick unit. His tiles are going to play a little bit more of an important role here now. A little bit more. I mean, I guess Epsilon's flying and she doesn't really care with all these Zeraballs in the mix. So the tiles aren't too bad. But he's just a thick man with good stats who can one-shot stuff. His AoE could also double as a way to knock this shield off Epsilon, especially because Gintoki did not bring his line AoE. He opted for that guard skill instead. So he's not going to be pushing. Now, I guess one of the purposes of these water tiles, if not necessarily to block mobility, is he did bring pirates, so he's able to steal buffs from people on water tiles. And Epsilon's shield is stealable. I've seen it happen. It's unpleasant when it happens to you. SCL now starting to really wear down on that backup time. Alright, SCL getting his Epsilon into forward position, also hiding. So he's going to be looking to secure something next turn. Not worried about getting popped out of that hide this turn. Autorun hanging back. The game's still not totally his. He definitely wants to be able to rely on Gintoki going into the end game. Mr. Sad, cheering for the person who can make him money. It makes sense. It's funny to see the two camps in terms of betting. We have Cucumber with the single ticket on SCL. We have Moondoggy with 12 tickets on SCL. And then we have a bunch of people. Okay, Gintoki going to attempt to get some use out of his Gintoki before the possible looming threat of Zerida comes in here. He does not manage to heal back up to 100%, but he is sitting on a city wall fortress tile right now. He does have a Mimir activation. It looks like Zerida is going to take her shot. Very small AoE to start on that Gintoki. She does finish him off. Alright, so now we're 2 on 2. Both Epsilon's kind of a wash. This Epsilon is ready to go into something. And Autorun has to be able to kill this Zerida twice. She's surrounded by Zeraballs, so she's looking like she's in decent shape for being able to pick up revives. Especially when you've got Zerida against only 2 units. Because Autorun needs to be able to kill her with both of these guys. And he's not really going to have a chance to do that, like, between her picking up a ball after one of their actions. So it's looking like SCL has a little bit of a jump on Autorun here now. It all depends on how Autorun plays this next couple turns. Storing up all these nice tasty Zeraballs right where he needs them. Gold Magistrate. Everyone says that every turn. Like, each new turn that happens, Whoever bet on whoever says they're going to lose all their money. Let's just hang tight and wait and see how people are doing. Autorun just deciding to chip that sword away. The sword giving SCL a little bit of a turn order advantage, even though it gives Autorun turn priority. It does let SCL delay his Z2 action commitment. He can keep Z2 hanging. She's just going to go back, get out of range. She can come back in and make her play later. Heal up a little bit, make sure she's not easy pickings. Probably a safer-ish play. There's no rush. But it may also open up an opportunity for Autorun, so we're going to have to keep our eyes on that. Running back with Epsilon as well. Okay, make Autorun come forward. The only danger of this is eventually the fog is going to eat your Zera balls. I mean, you will still have this one left. But it's nice to have the opportunity to have a few revives at your disposal if you need them. Having healthy, alive units is a little bit more advantageous, obviously. Alright, McLean going for the big snipe on Epsilon. Not going to bust him through that shield, but he does break the shield. And now McLean is hanging out here with his one extra life in nice, juicy, easy pickings position right up in the front line. SCL only has a few seconds to think about it though, and that's one of the disadvantages of eating up your backup time early. Opts just to soften up McLean with a little AoE first. Zerda's all on cooldowns for now for the next couple turns. Still dangerous though. Autorun's Epsilon joining the charge, still fully shielded. He gives McLean a little bit of a breeze, which doesn't really matter at this point. And Epsilon is going to go for that McLean. As we've come to expect with Autorun's units, not an easy kill, so McLean still with his revive intact. Epsilon 3C down, he's also going to need to be faction buffing himself this turn. So we have a Zerida fully on cooldown, Epsilon pretty much on cooldown, needing a buff. And Autorun's Epsilon, by contrast, is ready. So Zerida just taking that first life off McLean does not generate a Zera ball. And now we need to see if Autorun's going to actually be able to combo this down, or if she's going to be able to ride her revives to being able to carry this endgame. Autorun's Epsilon is now the one who's going to be needing to buff. Doesn't have his 3C up. Zerida only with this last remaining ball. The other ones have been eaten by fog. McLean hanging on again. Survives the AoE. Zerida heals back up. Fairly decent position there for this Zerida. I don't know if Autorun's going to be able to combo her down this turn. So she has her revive. She's pretty healthy. Living is so OP in Apex. You're right about that, Pete. Cobra Gaming. This is pretty much the end game of Game 1. So not super late. Still have another whole game ahead of us. We are eagerly anticipating what Autorun's plan is for dealing with this Zerida. If Epsilon were able to deal with a nice big healthy Zerida like this, then McLean could maybe hope to chip the second life. Anril, welcome to the chat. Cucumber, hopefully +2. Looking for a tiebreaker, eh? I mean, I guess the nice thing about 3 games, other than more Kong content, obviously, is that it means it wasn't a sweep, so we'll get to see a little bit of more tense action. Autorun, tense already, has eaten up a lot of his backup time thinking about this next sequence of moves. This is the pivotal sequence for him. Pretty late to the party? I don't know how late you are. It's not super late. I mean, obviously this game is almost over, but we've got at least one more game that's probably going to take half an hour, knowing these 2 players. Autorun definitely plotting out, you know, what happens if he attacks and she lives? What happens if he does this with this character first? So he's opting to chill with Epsilon first, get his buff back. Gonna take a little breathing room. Create some more tiles for himself. It does make sense, because Zerida's the one unit on SCL's team who's kind of affected by these tiles. She does have her teleport back, but she can only teleport like more or less to there. She can move forward and teleport to herself, which is what she's going to do. Heals her back up a little bit. Gives her just enough room to AoE these, so that busts Epsilon's shield down. That's pretty valuable, actually. Epsilon eating the damage dealt decrease as well. That is not going to help Autorun's case. Damage dealt decreased on both of these units. Autorun pretty much has to go for it though, so he's meleeing this Zerida. Does not get the kill thanks to that damage dealt debuff. So he's not going to be able to knock both of her lives off with this. First life down, but Zerida going to be able to easily pick up this Zeraball and get her revive back, meaning Autorun's going to have to go through that whole song and dance again to try to figure out a way to sequence 2 lives off her. Back to what Pete said earlier, living is OP in Apex. Alright, so she's able to easily finish off McLean there. She has 2 nice Zeraballs here to chow down on, so she has a revive. Epsilon does not have a revive. What he does have is a shield, range, and a 3C. So that is the first life down. Remember, there's another Zeraball. I think that's a Zeraball, isn't it? Because she ate this one to get her last revive, so I think there's one under Epsilon. Unless she ate that one and this one just got eaten by Fog. No, she got a revive. So she just goes for it. Now she's going to hide out on a fort. Autorun, deciding to trust his Epsilon's power, deciding to trust Zerida having revived a few times already, so she comes back weaker and weaker each time, and Autorun clinches that win with the very final hero on the board. Actually ended up being a closer game than we thought it would be. Not that we thought it was going to be a blowout, but after that first action, that first Watham dive, kind of whiffing on the Lostem, we were like, okay, Autorun starting the game 5-4. This is not going to go well for SCL, but SCL played well, played a really good trade down, and Autorun just clutched out the end game. The power of careful thinking too there. We saw both players take opportunities to run back and kind of reset themselves. So we have SCL as player 1 once again. We may see Autorun adjust his formation, knowing that he's going to be player 2. The map doesn't really matter too much in terms of sidebox, but Player 2, Autorun, may or may not opt to bring in a little bit more bulk or durability. So he does. Brings in his option, his second tank option. Scl also ditching the Kyra, figuring he doesn't need her as player 1, so he's getting T-Jess in the action instead for a little bit more of that dynamic flex play. She can make teleports to get some of Scl's units into the action a little bit more quickly if necessary. She can actually combo fairly well herself by jumping forwards to one of Scl's committed units. So the whole point of bringing up Hilda from the backup box is, with Lightbringer being banned here, it gives Autorun the option to first pick a tank if he wants to make sure that he has something to guard against this opening rush from Scl. So if we don't see Hilda picked there, then that's just a curious sidebox choice. Oh, that wasn't even Lightbringer first ban. Okay, so it didn't matter. Right, that's the Zerida. I mean, that's Scl reacting to the sideboxing. He knows Autorun's going to get a tank regardless, so he just lets him have Lightbringer there. And now Hilda's here's a dead weight in the box. So that's a fine play as well. Gets one of Autorun's clutch late game DPS off the board. So now we're going to see what kind of aggressive... Yeah, banning the Rosen Seal, smart. He also bans Gintoki, who's the third member of the holy trifecta of strong units to have. So we're going to have no Lightbringer paired with Rosen combo, which is OP. Scl opting to bring his own McLean into the action this time. Actually, a McLean versus McLean battle. McLean, I've said it in past streams, I really like McLean alongside a tank. Particularly as player 2. So Scl is going to be able to splash down some tiles of his own, which may kind of help to foil Autorun's tile plans. But as player 2 with the tank, it does really help buy you some space and time. Phil tuning in, another of the betting all tickets on Autorun camp. I know Tristan always bets on Autorun as well. Okay, Scl banning out the Annie and the Lucretia, smart bans there. Lucretia, another unit that pairs really well with McLean in particular, thanks to the Golem being able to refresh his cooldowns, keep some more water on the board. But both of these mages also good picks alongside Lightbringer, because you can hang out with your tank and kind of bombard from long range. The Sissy pick here is interesting for Scl. It does give him an option to have a temporary tank to help him move forward, move into position, which is really good against someone like Lostum, for example, because it kind of takes his 3C off the table, at least for a turn. Kaze already calling it for Autorun. Well, we know that that Autorun's Lostum is a bulk lord, and he, even though he didn't really do too much in the last game, he did one really interesting important thing at the start of the last game, which was eat a Watham charge and live to tell the tale. Gold Magistrate, Autorun has been first banning Lightbringer. Both games so far, he's first banned Lightbringer. Does not want to play against Scl with a tank. And Autorun getting Azusa into the mix here. The only kind of interesting unexpected unit in his box. Not that she's bad or not meta, but she's the only one who's kind of like different from the usual formula, so we are going to see her in action here. This is exciting. As you know, on this stream we love seeing lesser used heroes, especially when they're used by players of Autorun's caliber. Let's see what Azusa can do. And Scl making good use of his backup box. Obviously doesn't want to have two healers for this forward position, so he brings T-Jess. Mr. Sad, I am a totally unbuilt 3-star Azusa user, so... Not user, I mean she's sitting on my bench. I am not 100% sure what her exclusive is doing, but I'm sure someone in the chat will be able to tell you. T-Cut can hear stream up in background. I don't know what you mean by that. Does that mean you're listening to my stream in the background? If so, then yay. Alright, and we also have a 5th pick D-Heart here. Background echo. Oh, is my stream picking up my own stream? Is that what the problem is? Interesting. I wonder if that's from my temporary setup here, because I'm just set up at a bar, which is not the most conducive. Yeah, it may be fine for most people, but let me just quickly check if I can turn it off. Alright, that may do the trick. And I'll bring my video back. So let me know if you can still hear my stream streaming my stream to my stream. And if that is fixed, then we are good. Audio seems fine for people on the YouTube side. Audio seems fine for some people on the Twitch side. Well, I did a little bit additional muting, so hopefully that should help things. Good. Alright, thanks for letting me know, T-Cut. I do like to know those things. Alright, and let's see what we have here. I like how it very briefly keeps the backup time from the last game. It always looks terrifying to see, like, on turn 1, having 2 seconds of backup time. How interesting would that be if they implemented a system where your backup time counted for all your matches in the best of 3? So you had to really think about conserving your time in Game 1. So Scl going ahead and moving Zerida back. Doesn't need her to be forward quite yet because she can teleport into the action. This D-Heart, oh my gosh, when we go back to that we'll take another look at that because that was interesting. We have Inspire on the Sissy, we have a very standard T-Jess. We have Hide on the Epsilon again, so not interested in the accelerated aid, and we also have the normal AoE Zerida build hiding at the back here. D-Heart went ahead and brought Calamity and Faction buff. He also did go ahead and bring the Guard Ignore rather than Air Slash, and that's just in case he has to deal with Sissy White's little Lancer friend. Azusa has some Azusa skills that I am unfamiliar with, thanks to not really having her. But I think these are her typical skills. The choose physical, choose magical skills. So Azusa, with her magical damage skill, going to be able to attack around a potential Lancer tank. Lostum going to be able to attack around a Lancer tank. We do have the Guard Ignore on D-Heart. McLean has his Guard Ignore as well. And Lightbringer's attack is magical, so the temporary Lancer tank is really only going to matter against Lostom's 3C. So who does this Origin buff? It buffs Azusa and Lostom. And himself, obviously. I think with this pick ban, it's really hard to say because that Zerida, as we saw in the last game, is such a wildcard clutch unit. We also have an Act Again available on SCL's side. I was going to say I give the slight edge to Autorun's team just because he has a full 5 unit of stacked units. And he also has Lightbringer, who's great as player too. I really like Lightbringer in general. She's strong and annoying to get around. McLean should be certainly Yellus and Meteor Strike. I forget his third faction off the top of my head. Strategy, yes, that makes sense. That makes more sense than Origins, to be honest. It would be kind of weird for a Langrisser 4 character. But not like they really care about lore and theme with their factions too much these days. But Origins are meant to be kind of like the OGs of the Langrisser lore and history. And McLean did not come around until 3-4 games into the series, and he's a robot. Yeah, I really want to see Azusa put in some strong work here. What I really want to see is all the people who bet on all their tickets on Autorun get their little cash in, and then all start wildly building Azusa, all the people who haven't built her yet. That's one fun thing about playoff matches, is you get to see characters used to their full potential, and it often encourages other players to start using characters that they might not have used before. Yeah, the old Bond conundrum, it's true. Imagine if Ricky was in top 4. Sparks, you had the opportunity to make that happen, unfortunately. Maybe next season will be the season of Ricky. Actually, I mean, there is a Ricky season coming, and it's post-Awakener. I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing Ricky's in more boxes. He is strong. Ricky's strong. We're going to see much more prevalent tank pushing and turtling, and Ricky is going to be enjoying himself. Yeah, the hard part for normal people, Cucumber, is getting enchants like Otto has. But Otto has discovered a solution to that problem. It's a solution that not all of us have access to. Thank you for the follow, by the way, Sam. I see you in the corner there with your little Seal Guardian welcoming you to the channel. Okay, and SCL opening up the proceedings by running in on Dheart. Actually picking off one of Autorun's exposed units. Probably worried that Dheart was going to survive that. But he does get a leg up on Autorun here. And as we kept mentioning in the last game, we're now getting an all-important Zeraball right in the thick of things. Alright, so we're getting some McLean on McLean action here. He does secure the first life with the post-battle fixed on water. And it leaves this McLean without his revive for now. Cobra Gaming, you want to know what Otto's enchant solution is? Emerald Dragon just mentioned it a few lines above you in the chat. The solution is indeed buying many, many, many scroll packs. Alright, T-Jess going to rescue that McLean. Yeah, rip Phoenix, that's probably a result of my streaming from a weird random bar here. I would expect to see a little bit of quality dipping here and there. Cucumber with the direct hookup to good stream quality. $720p is all you need for Langrisser anyway, my friend. In fact, I should probably go into my stream quality options before tomorrow's match, knowing that I'm going to be streaming from another random bar tomorrow, as I'm not in the studio all weekend. So if I can kind of limit or downscale my stream intentionally, maybe it will ease the load on the network. Alright, lost him, not content to take no for an answer, is going to move in and make a play. He really only can reach T-Jess here, so with his guard ignore skill, able to take her down, and he's going to be able to run all the way back into guard range. So we now basically have a T-Jess for Dheart scenario, which is not too bad a trade for either player, to be honest. It was Appa, the 7th Heaven player who's moving on. He and Nice played their game early, so we already knew that that was going to be a forfeit in advance. Unfortunately, I only got my stream on 5 or 10 minutes before the game started, so I didn't have too much advance time to warn people not to vote on that side of the bracket. But it should be Appa advancing over Nice to face the winner of this match. So Autorun really enjoying that, being able to pick off a kill and still have his team clustered around this tank here. SCL, now is not the time to charge in with Zerida. Wants to make sure he can do it without having her comboed down, also having some support units in there. This Epsilon not quite ready to charge into the mix quite yet, with only 2 stacks. There will definitely be more stacks than that soon. Sissy also has her Act Again ready. So possible pivot play coming up. Unfortunately, McLean is also without his revive, so that was one of the things he spent on getting this D-Heart off the board. Yeah, Gold Magistrate, they fought it out already. They're not fighting their live Apex match. They fought earlier, sometime this week. McLean hanging out with his team, doing a little splashy splashy. So I guess these green-blue tiles are player 1 tiles, and the like reddish water tiles are player 2 tiles. My chat can let me know if these are closer to green or blue, or are they true blue-green? My color blindness often makes it not easy for me to tell the difference. Wow, it's unanimous just blue. Alright, thanks guys. We even have the guy with green in his name telling me. I'm sorry to have embarrassed you. They kind of look like a teal blue-green to me. So SCL investing in his Act Again already. It depends what you mean by use enemy McLean's tiles. I mean, they're basically just water, so he can traverse them regardless. He gets water bonuses. Autorun probably can't overextend too much with these remaining units because his Lightbringer has already acted back here. That said, he still benefits from splashing some tiles down because it does slow down the Epsilon. Epsilon's not on gargoyles this time, so he is slowed down by enemy water. And the Zerda, kind of, although she has a Zera Ball, so it doesn't really matter as much for her. Okay, SCL gets a freeze on McLean. That is one of the fun features of McLean versus McLean battles, is all the potential for icing. A stunning result, Emerald Dragon. Your pun was just the icing on the cake. Moondoggy, SCL's McLean lost his first life already, yes. Yep. Autorun gonna tuck Azusa away. He knows he can't go in for like the next turn, so gonna stay with the tank, also try to stay out of the way of these dangerous units. Okay. Epsilon just running into position, taking advantage of his hide, so he'll be in position to do what he wants next turn. And Zerda just blanketing those AoEs. Epsilon should be able to kill this through her damage reduction mechanic, so... I mean, the initial fear was that SCL didn't have an answer to Azusa. And it looks like his answer is just blasting her down with AoE into killable range. So remember, Epsilon is going to have his 3C available this turn. He's also in range to be able to reach whatever he wants. Azusa, Autorun getting some Yusa out of Azusa before he figures he's going to be losing her. Oh, also getting some good healing on there, so Epsilon probably not going to be able to one-shot that now. Yep, SCL switching to a different plan. Azusa off the table, so he's going to move down and take out that Lostum. Bulky on a tree Lostum. A little vindication for SCL there, seeing that Lostum go down. But Autorun still has to be careful about this Zerda sitting on his doorstep. He's able to take one life off her there. Oh, he's going to have turn priority next turn, because he just has McLean to act here, and SCL has 2 units to move, so Autorun's going to be able to start next turn, he hopes, by killing that Zerda's second life. She already used her act again, so it's not up yet. She can only pick up a Zeraball if she gets a chance to act. My point is, Autorun's going to be able to kill her before she can do that. Oh, she hasn't moved this turn. Oh, yeah. She'll get a Zeraball for sure, though. I thought she was grayed out. I thought that was the turn that she had used her AoE. Yeah, she's fine then. That's a shame for Autorun, because that's the exact kind of combo opportunity he needs. This is looking rough for Autorun now. Yeah, Autorun's not going to be able to combo her down with all these units still around. Being able to get a tank possibly into position, Sissy's act again being back very soon. The Epsilon's not doing anything for the next turn or so. Yeah, Cucumber, that was my bad. I had misread when her action was. I thought she was already committed there. Game 3 hype already. Where's all the SCL betters in the chat? Yeah, Moondoggy, I think you're right. We're scared by this Zerda, but when you really look at things, she's kind of the only real endgame DPS. Okay, a good use of the Lancer to get rid of Azusa's talent protection, though. A counter ice. Unfortunately, it's just on this little throwaway Cav unit. Like, you want your ice to go off so bad, and then it just happens in that scenario. Come on. No matter who Zerida picks, it's going to be bad for Autorun because he needs units to be able to team up on her and take her down. Yeah, Moondoggy, that was a hoping for a stun play there. Kind of the only thing that could stop this play from Zerida. Going to take out the Azusa. She also creates a nice little convenient ball for herself for future use. Although I guess Fog is going to be eating that soon. Oh yeah, Azusa didn't have her talent up, so... No talent, no protection, outside guard range, easy pickings for a nice juicy Zerida. Autorun gonna move in, stake a little claim to the middle, give himself a little breathing room here, a little bit of room to move around. But he's really just got a Lightbringer, and he's got a 1-life McLean. I mean, just getting that Zerida down is going to be difficult. Big damage on Sissy there. Racked again is back up. Yeah, I have a feeling this game is not going to come down to damage though, Muslera. Someone's getting wiped. If Autorun can pull himself out of this situation, I really want to see it, because this is a learning opportunity for all of us. What to do when you have 1 tank, 1 DPS, and a fully charged up Neo Zerida in your face. I mean, I guess you do also have potential RNG from McLean's AoEs. Does finish off the healer, so SCL has no more AA, he has no more healing, he has no more tank. But these characters both have a decent amount of self-healing anyway. Okay, McLean on McLean. Not quite enough. The onus is going to be on Lightbringer to heal that McLean back up, though, before SCL can finish it off. Although SCL is out of guard ignores right now. Although Autorun's units are both beat up pretty bad right now. We have 2 juicy AoEs on SCL's side. Juicy. Definitely hard to deal with the Zerida, much less the Zerida and the McLean. But Autorun kind of hoping to get this McLean off the board, so that he can then start focusing the attention of both of his units on this Zerida. Alright, so she's going to drop the AoE. Again, McLean with the old damage down. Lightbringer also not able to finish that McLean. It is a little bit of healing. I mean, if McLean goes now, he probably bonnets himself back up into enough health that this McLean isn't going to finish him either. Everyone looking for freezes. Smartly backing off and parking on water here. Autorun gonna go for it, and he does manage to secure the kill on that McLean. Okay, so that was his first goal accomplished. Slowly but surely combos down that McLean. And now he's got his Lightbringer and McLean versus a fully stacked up Zerida. All her Zera balls are gone though. So if she loses her revive here, she's gonna need to be able to kill something to get it back. And Autorun's Lightbringer only has to be able to keep up with DPS from one unit now instead of two, so her healing may be enough to keep the team going. Oh, Zerida not quite able to finish that Lightbringer off. Yeah, Muslera, Zerida ignores class effects. So she's not weak to Holy. Bad timing as Lightbringer has to put her guard back up there. So not able to take that turn to heal. Autorun basically had to cash in her revive in order to get her guard back up. But now he's well positioned to be able to start chipping away at this with Lightbringer having her discipline up, and McLean potentially just going to be throwing whatever he has at her. Alright, here it comes. This is probably a kill. Yep. And now McLean is pretty toast, as he's definitely not going to be able to kill Zerida twice. Not even going to be able to kill Zerida once. Scl going to play it slightly safe and just go with the AoEs here. Get a little bit of healing on Zerida. Yeah, and Autorun throws in the towel though. He knows he's not going to break through that wall. Okay, Game 3 hype, everyone. Scl has Autorun in a Game 3. Winner take all. Arguably, and I don't want to be seen to be bad-mouthing the 7th Heaven players, but arguably, this truly is a winner-take-all situation. I think either Autorun or Scl ends up being the favored player against the 7th Heaven competitor. So, Autorun gets player 1 this time. We're on Plains of Strife, a nice, comfortable, fairly neutral map here. Lost him, obviously very strong. We're going to see some sidebox adjustments. Autorun probably doesn't need this Hilda up here as player 1, so he probably drops her again for another good DPS unit. We may see Scl pivot to a little bit more of a defensive box as player 2 here. We shall find out. Jack Pop, that's not the end of the world. Save your tickets for next season, to be perfectly honest. Z2 needs to get banned, is what Musler is saying. To be honest, I mean, she's definitely caused a thorn in Autorun's side, although I can definitely see him, if he's been banning Lightbringer, and now with SCL as player 2, depending on what he brings up from the side box. Okay, so he did bring up Christiane from the side box. Now Autorun gains a little bit less from first banning Lightbringer because SCL will get a tank regardless, so we may see Autorun first ban Zerida now as a result of that. And so he does. Autorun getting his first pick Lightbringer as well. Do you get something if you bet? Yeah, if the player that you bet on wins their match, you get a bunch of gold. And the amount of gold you get is determined by the odds on your match. So Autorun was ahead of SCL in betting by like 3-1. So if you bet on Autorun and Autorun wins, you get slightly less gold than you would if the odds were better. But it can be a pretty good source of gold if you have your finger on the pulse of the PvP scene. So yeah, Autorun predictably kind of reset his tank back out, and it looks like he brought up Archon in exchange for Azusa. Yeah, just gold, no crystals. That would be... I think giving crystals for betting would be too gameable. Yeah, Lord Thy God, Archon on Plains of Strife, an interesting choice. Also a fairly interesting choice because SCL was still potentially able to sidebox Hilda, so he may have been bringing up Archon against Hilda. He didn't know. Unless Autorun has done some research and knows that SCL prefers to bring Christiane out of the sidebox rather than Hilda. Oh my goodness, what is this game even doing? So player 1 Autorun is going to get the vaunted Lightbringer and Rosenseal combo. SCL also getting Lightbringer and a Lightbringer and a healer as player 2, but it's just Sissy, so not really like an impervious wall of tanking and healing. But we're still getting a tank and healer battle on both sides. This is going to be juicy. Yeah, Autorun smartly banning out the Gintoki there. He does not want Gin comboing with Sissy White, especially for player 2, with that double act again potential. And SCL also sitting on kind of a dead pick here with his Christiane, unless he really wants to commit to the tank push aesthetic in this game. Although so far, 100% of Autorun's DPS are magic, so if SCL really wanted to hole up in his little turtle shell, bringing out an anti-magic tank would not be the worst thing in the world. You still need to be able to kill something around this Lightbringer and Rosenseal, though. Yeah, this is going to be a 1-hour game. I'm definitely going to need to order another plate of nachos or something to stay here. Alright, SCL getting Lostum, so he does have some guard ignoring DPS here. The 3C is only going to be useful for smacking Lightbringer. If I'm Autorun, I'd really like to see a physical DPS join this team as well. As tempting as Lucretia is to pick in this team, really, if you are all magic... Yeah, okay, so he does get the Archon as a strong physical DPS. There's also not really any anti-pull here. I mean, Lightbringer is herself anti-pull, but the rest of the team is at risk of displacement. Ray, you can still bet on tomorrow's matches, yes. So as soon as these matches are over, whenever tomorrow's brackets show up, you'll be able to bet. That said, tomorrow's matches may not be the best to bet on. Depending on who wins here. If SCL wins here, I can see him getting a lot of bets, but I can also see an SCL versus Up Appa match being fairly even, surprisingly even. I think people may underestimate Up Appa going into a match like that. And SCL will be under a lot of pressure. So depending on what the odds look like, that could be an interesting betting scenario. Alright, SCL getting D-Heart. So D-Heart, gonna have a guard ignore, which is good. But he's not gonna be able to stun anything, which is bad. And he could counter-kill himself on this Adank Elmo, so he has to be careful of that. I've seen D-Hearts and Lostums counter-killed on Adank Elmo. And you know Autorun's Adank Elmo is going to be cracked. And sure enough, we are getting this double tank setup from SCL. Yeah, why let Pepsi through 5th? That's something we'll have to ask SCL, I guess. He occasionally shows up in main chord, although I'm sure some people are in more reliable chords with him. It's been a while since you've seen this many people on a Langrisser stream, on YouTube at least. Well, that, my friend, is the combined power of Semifinals featuring Autorun and SCL, and meshing seamlessly with the draw of Kong's channel. Now, Rice Crew, I've seen 1 or 2 bulk hearts. Okay, so both players are going to be adjusting their hero skills, soldiers, and positioning once again. So let's see what we ended up with. Show me. We've got a 3C on the Rosenseal. Don't see that every day. We do have a black hole set up on Adank Elmo. And Fireball, which is fair. We do have Stealth on this Epsilon. Of course, we have Glacial Elementals. Nothing too surprising other than possibly the 3C on this Rosen. Over here we have a lot of Templar Knights. Okay, that's fine. And yeah, riposte. And a normal D-Heart setup, so nothing too surprising on this side as well. The D-Heart has not quite 14k. But I would expect to see D-Heart counter-kill himself into this. Now, mind you, I haven't done any testing with or against Autorun or SCL units, but my Adank Elmo is a fairly reliable counter-killer. And mine is not good. Let's take a look at the Lost and Moondoggy. Is not. He's a 13.5k as well. Definitely not OLB. Autorun, a very comfortable setup here to move up with. Yeah, Dehart trade to Annie isn't a bad trade, if it ends up being a trade. It's certainly possible that she survives. I mean, Dehart's kind of a one-and-done character in a matchup like this anyway. You've got Epsilon coming, you've got Archon coming. I think he did not bring Dismiss. No, he brought Inspire. That's a good point, Rice Crew. Epsilon did not pick up any Rosen stacks on that move. So he actually is stunnable, but that requires Dehart. Oh, look at this. That requires Dehart to actually go in and engage. This looks like a huge bait to me. This looks like a huge bait. Setting Epsilon out front with no Rosen stacks and Reflective Annie in range of Dehart is... This is like world champion level bait. I really want to see SCL go for it though. I'm sorry. If he's got to be thinking, I know it's bait, but if I can kill that Annie and stun Epsilon, I'll be so far ahead. But he knows it's bait. He knows it's bait. Annie has Black Hole, Fireball, and her Dimensional Explosion. Oh yeah, you mean when I clicked on her, that's because she was in the middle of casting her portals. So it only shows what the character can use at that moment, which can be confusing. Like, same deal if you click on Sissy while she's doing her post-action, it'll show you, like, the summons down here. Alright, this is the moment of truth, my friends. Is it time? Are you going to do it, SCL? Have you run your calculations? No, he's not going to take that bait. So yeah, Annie can move up here. Alright, Epsilon doesn't need to be no stacks anymore after that bait was not taken, so Rosen Seal moves down. Annie can move up here, blast the team, and then teleport back. I really wanted to see him take the bait too, just to see how brutal of a setup it was. But no, I'm glad to see SCL adapt to that. He's going to take his chance another time and see what happens. SCL rocking 3 tanks right now. So Moondoggy's point about losing the DPS war is something that SCL has to think about. So there is the big black hole that we were all expecting. We got some damage taken. What's all this garbage? No passives on Christian. Mobility debuff on the Lostum, but he hasn't used his hooks yet, so he's probably okay. SCL positioning well against Archon here, so he's got his tanks on the front lines, not letting Autorun pluck a softer unit away from the team. So Autorun is going to be looking for an opening, looking for a way to get in after softening up the team with that black hole. Although they're pretty much unsoftened again after that. SCL going to the backup clock, trying to figure out when can I actually get in there to do something. He has plenty of tanks on his team, so he's okay to move up slowly. That said, he does need to be careful about Archon positioning and also Epsilon getting a snipe in. Now, Epsilon has no stacks yet, so he's not super threatening quite yet, but still something to consider as you're moving up slowly, what your positioning opens you up to. Black hole down for several turns. If SCL moves closer, though, she still does have her potential AoE from the 3C. Okay, lost him, gonna make his move. He's going for the Rosen. No real chance of getting through that Rosen with Shrine Maidens with Riposte. But yeah, possibly a twofer. So D-Heart should be able to finish this off now. It's got 0% Shrine Maidens. Obviously getting Rosen off the board, very big for SCL, because really the threat of Autorun's team composition right now is the Rosen Seal and Lightbringer combo. So easy kill on injured Rosen Seal now. D-Heart won't be getting a stun, but he's able to run back to guard range. So now that that has happened for Autorun, he's really just going to be looking to take advantage of killing SCL's small handful of DPS. So Archon has a revive, obviously. Everyone's already stacked up with Rose and Steel stacks fairly nicely. Right, that's the thing, Lord Thy God. SCL only with 2 real DPS there, so even if he cracks the Rose and Seal, now he has to protect those 2 DPS, or the 1 now. And when your only DPS is D-Heart, it kind of hurts. So you've got Rose and Seal stacked, revived Archon here, revivable Archon. You still have to get through Lightbringer even without a Rose and Seal, which is still a tall order, as we saw in the last game. She is pretty much a carry unit in her own right. And Epsilon is starting to build up stacks now that the pieces have started falling, so Epsilon is going to be able to do his thing like he usually does. He's got a shield, he's got some Rose and Seal stacks, so he's not really vulnerable to anything in SCL's lineup. He can kind of move in and get ready to kill D-Heart. Or whoever. So Epsilon just getting himself into position for the next turn. And he does catch a breeze, which will allow him to kill whoever he wants. Unless the sissy runs away. Gold Magistrate, you're going to have to change your name to Silver Magistrate if you don't win your bets. Yeah, Lord Thy God, I wouldn't necessarily call it for Autorun yet, but I definitely give advantage to Autorun at this point in the game. Heavy advantage. Yeah, Sissy, no AA right now. Autorun will have turn priority. So if he wants that D-Heart dead, D-Heart's dead. We did not have Rosen Tank. Maybe he had it available, but we didn't have Rosen Tank deployed in Game 1. Alright, Annie just beaming in to soften some units up a little bit more, silencing this Christiane. Forming a little kind of body block wall of tanks here. Can Epsilon get around that? He should be able to. If he wants the D-Heart. Yeah, he can reach. And that's exactly what he's going for. That's the right play. SCL just has 2 tanks and a sissy now. So this basically becomes a hope that I can survive against a guarded Epsilon match. Archon totally fine using his revive there. He does not mind doing that whatsoever. And now his units are under guard. Autorun nicely positioned in the middle of the map with this buff Lightbringer. Nothing to get through it. Nothing to ignore guard. SCL already at a damage disadvantage. This is Dunzo. Fully done. Be interesting to see if SCL is going to give it another couple turns, or if he's going to throw the towel in now. Oh, I know that feeling of not wanting to give up because you wanted to win so bad. Thanks for stopping by, Pete. Even, yeah, Emerald Dragon, to your point though, even if SCL gets Epsilon totally for free here, he's still not getting through Archon, Annie, and Lightbringer. Like, Autorun could run Pepsi into the fog right now, and he would still have the leg up. Even if he were to stack up here and bring his healer in, Epsilon not on the table anymore, SCL doesn't have enough tools to catch up on damage. I know we would have all loved to see the bait, but it wouldn't have gone any better for him if he tried that. Oh, everyone's going to be going back and reliving that potential bait in their nightmares. Okay, SCL is trying to hang around. He's going to be using his... yeah, he's going to be using Lightbringer as his primary DPS. We're going to try to see if he can catch up in damage here. But Annie able to put up lots of free damage to help keep Autorun ahead. Annie gonna want to use her post-action... Oh, she's not... Is she gonna be able to use her post-action teleport after that, or is she going back here? Not that it matters, because I don't think SCL is gonna be chasing her down, per se. I just think Autorun, speaking of pick and ban here, and when SCL lost the match, I think Autorun showed really good use of what that Lightbringer plus Rosen combo is really for. And it's not necessarily to have your entire team go to the center of the map and live forever. He used that Lightbringer and Rosen combo to buy himself tons of time, tons of space in the middle of the map, buff units, so that he was able to just move in with impunity, and once he started firing off his bombs, he didn't need Rosen anymore. She can come back this turn. She doesn't have the skills to really do anything, but she can reach guard range from there. But your point is right, Lord. It opens up a little bit for SCL. I mean, the point of SCL's game now is to survive in mid. Ikuto, I'm going to let the chat answer that one because I suspect it varies greatly with from D-Heart to D-Heart and possibly Rosen to Rosen. My D-Heart is pretty weak, so definitely not doing that. And Autorun's Rosen is quite strong. The old two-shot is a viable play to get rid of a Rosen seal, but like Lord said at the time, the downside of it is if it exposes your DPS. Like, trading your DPS for that Rosen is rough. Alright, the fog just beginning to encroach. these are the final spots. So Autorun still with more center control. Sissy just gonna clear some of this crap. Lightbringer with the Moby down, can't use guard skills. Doesn't really matter because you've also got Christiane up here. Scl now 100,000 damage behind. And his biggest DPS really seems to be that discipline from his Lightbringer. I mean, I guess Christiane's normal attack with Templars kind of wallops a little bit. I mean, people going all in on Scl is a brave bet, just because as good as Scl is, and as tempting looking as the odds were, Scl was still the underdog. Yeah, he may have picked two tanks foreseeing a situation like this. Like, his other option for last pick was Watham, who... he may have been concerned that Watham into Rosensteel didn't have value, but it's a DPS. Alright, Archon taking advantage of that Moby down on the Lightbringer to pull Sissy away, just far enough away from Christiane that he could take her out. So we're still seeing Autorun making meaningful piece capturing plays here. They're not just shelling damage at each other. Oh, and Epsilon able to fully destroy that Christiane, so just like taking Scl to the cleaners at this point. And that is it, my friends. We ended up getting a long match for this one. 3 games, 3 really good, interesting games. Even though the final game was a little bit more lopsided, just a little bit, it did give us a view of a totally different playstyle than we saw in the first 2 games. So, really interesting one to have watched. I'm glad well, I mean, it was the only game to watch today. I'm glad we watched it. So, congratulations to Autorun for moving on to the finals again, and the opportunity to win his 3rd championship in a row tomorrow. Scl, congratulations as well for making it this far, and for giving us some really good and intense and entertaining matches, so thank you Scl so much for your games. So what we are going to have tomorrow, I will be streaming again at the same time, same links, you know where to find good old Kong. Probably same bar, maybe different bar. I'm going to be streaming... Actually, this one worked out pretty well, so I think I'll come right back here tomorrow. We are going to be watching 7th Heaven Up Appa, a newcomer to this level of the playoffs, at least. Yeah, relative newcomer. He made it to the playoffs last season, and that was it. First round of the playoffs. So, obviously, some very good piloting decisions going on here. So first opportunity to go up against Autorun in the finals tomorrow. Definitely going to have fun watching that one, and we'll see what Uppa's pilot can do against the potential 3-time in a row champ. I mean, he's already the 3-time champ, but he wants to make it 3 times in a row. How good will that look on the account when he goes to sell it? Alright, thanks everyone for coming out and watching. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy your gold if you happen to win on that one, and go cry into your cups if you didn't. But thanks for the chat. I will be back tomorrow. Happy Langrissing, everyone.